When it comes to the soothing light at the end of your tunnel, it's just a freight train coming your way.
Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 585. It's the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and co-host, Michael Gray. Fuck the Packers. Let's start there.
Yeah, what a frustrating night, man. Frustrating game, frustrating. All three phases took a turn in not doing the thing that they were supposed to do. And then, of course, you have a melee happens after the game once it's all settled and everybody's kind of, making friends with the disappointment. And then Brian Branch has to go and throw a punch after shining Patrick Mahomes on his handshake. So,
at least this team has some
frustrating night all the way around.
At least they have some fight in them.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see what the league does. They're going to, I think he's paid a fine every week.
Good.
He might not. There might have been 1 week where he didn't, but I know for three straight weeks he paid fines. And if this is at least going to be that.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, it's not my money, right? But
right. Yeah, it's easy when you're not writing the checks.
Yeah. Fuck them. I don't care. This game is one of those games where it's just so frustrating, like, because you can't get out of your own way, and every time you do, something else is in your way. There's never an easy path. It was always a grind. We'll talk about that. We got a whole lot more. We got the game, Coach Campbell's post-game presser we'll have on. We'll do a roundtable and also take your calls, but only for the people who hit like and subscribe. So get in there. We'll do all that. We got all that and a whole lot more. Great show lined up. Mr. Gray, are you ready to go, my friend?
I'm as ready as ever. Let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right. Jim Swanson, no fine last week for Branch. There you go.
Okay.
Will he get suspended?
Well, he's going to make up for it this week.
Will he get suspended to make up for the missing fine is the next question.
Boy, oh boy. There's a chance. There's a legit chance. I mean, he started that whole melee down there. I mean, he had help, but
hopefully Vilma's on the fining committee and they'll send it to Deion Branch.
So yeah, where do we want to start? The offense that wasn't, the defense that isn't, the special teams getting in on the goofing up. Like, I don't even know.
So
frustrating all the way around.
Michael Hawley, I got to give you credit because this really does a good job of summing it up. Refs or not, we played someone else's game. It was not Lions football. And as we were getting ready to start here, this is what I was telling Gray. This game was just, it was an uphill battle every step of the way. We couldn't get out of our way. The refs couldn't get out of our way. The ball fell the Chiefs' way. There was just never a break. It was constantly uphill. And it started with that touchdown that was called back by New York, even though they say they had a conference on the field. We all know that's bullshit. I would like to subpoena those refs' communications because we all know, everybody knows it's bullshit. The fact that they didn't get a frigging penalty until what's his face was 65 yards into the backfield. I mean, 2:14 left in the fourth quarter.
There was 2:14 left in the game before the first flag got thrown at Kansas City. And I'm getting, I'm just like, every time I refresh the page, there's another whole feed full of Kansas City fans calling me names because I've been pointing out that, like, I think it's interesting that there hasn't been one flag thrown on Kansas City, not one. That's to be expected, especially in KC. They were 2-3 going into this one. If you want to get conspiratorial and throw your aluminum foil hat on, you could say that the league would definitely like it if KC won that game. Detroit didn't do themselves any favors.
No, not at all.
The touchdown that wasn't on the illegal, whatever they called it, formation, motion, whatever it was, when Goff, nearly dropped that ball, by the way. Had he not run into the guy that Saint was blocking, he would have dropped that ball. So even that, Amon-Ra St. Brown with a clutch drop on a fourth down, things that just don't happen. They happened. The defense, the injuries are catching up.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about that. The injuries are catching up. I don't think anybody's going to like going over the tape. Alex Anzalone, I mean, I haven't gone back and watched the game again. I don't want to. Alex Anzalone had maybe his worst game of the year, maybe of the last couple. Just missing tackles, getting blocked out of frame by whoever they put on him. Didn't seem to matter. Wide receivers were messing him up. So just a rough game, bad execution all the way around. And what did I say last week? Don't want Kansas City for a get-right game.
Yeah.
Don't want a desperate Kansas City Chiefs team. And you got a desperate Kansas City Chiefs team that went out and executed pretty well. And when they do that, they're really hard to beat.
Yeah. I on the play that got called back, the Goff touchdown called back, I just want to make sure we give a shout out to St. Brown on the blocking he did there, because he got beat on his block at first. And then he said, "Oh no, I'm the son of Mr. Universe," and he barreled that motherfucker into the end zone. It was really strong play on his part. I mean, you got to give a guy like that credit for doing that, because that's the dirty work that wide receivers typically don't like to do. And I know he dropped the fourth down ball. He's not a ball dropper. That's not what he does. This is another one of those games where nobody stood out on the Lions. Laporta had some great snares, right? But nobody stepped up out of their standard play. J-Mo looked like he was going to early, right? Goff looked really good early. Everybody, until that called back touchdown, and it was like a switch flipped, and the entire team decided to play Kansas City ball instead of Lions ball. And it was Lions ball up to that point, and they had full control. It was really, it was sad to see how that shifted.
Yeah, it was. And then, especially on the defensive side, where they just couldn't meet 3rd and 18 and they give up 17. It was that kind of night. They just couldn't get the easy stuff, couldn't get the layups to drop. And if you do that against these guys, especially, in a desperate situation, you do that against these guys, you're going to get beat. And they did. In the two games now that they've lost, held to 13 points and 17 points. The offense is going to have to be damn near perfect if the Lions are going to win games. The offense has got to carry this thing. It's not quite to where it was in the last half of the year in 2024 with all the injuries on defense, but man, it's pretty close. Let's not forget what happened against Cincinnati in the fourth quarter. I mean, that game was a lot closer than it should have been because of some defensive breakdowns. I don't think, I mentioned Anzalone. I don't think Amik Robertson's going to cherish the tape when they go back and they get to go in on Monday and have a look at all this stuff. I don't think he's going to like it either. Yeah,
no, I don't think anyone in that locker room is going to come up and be happy with what they got going on.
Right.
It was bad on all fronts. Refs sucked. I mean, the Lions just didn't step up and sucked. And let's be honest, the Chiefs stepped up and played a game. It was their get right game, and that was it. That was the game. That's what we saw. It sucks.
Yeah. No, it was ugly. Just all the way around. I'll be very curious to see what Dan has to say coming out of this thing. Obviously, it's really early. It's all fresh. He came out and was still preaching optimism at halftime. We're just 3 plays. And I remember Kelvin Shepard a couple of weeks ago saying we can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, we were perfect except for where we weren't. Well, where you weren't gets you beat.
Yeah.
And it just seems like every phase of the operation took turns, being out of sync and not executing. Just a really intensely frustrating football game to watch all the way around.
Yeah, 100%. Tribe, you better check your mom's chin. She's got ball prints from me on there. You might want to rub them out for her.
I don't know what.
Just policing the chat. You know how it is. Gotta get things straight. Love when our friends come in and try to play tough. All right, let's talk about it. Defense is in trouble. The injuries this year. Last year was a game of coming back from injuries, and playing through them. Have we met the end of that rope? Is the first question. And then, I mean, the other kind of storyline here is you had the most injured team in the NFL playing the least injured team in the NFL on the road. I mean, everything was stacked against the team right now, and it's hard to overcome a situation like this. But man, That was just plain freaking ugly.
Well, yeah, and it's the NFL. Like you've got to if you want to beat teams, you've still got to do that. I mean, you've got teams that have fallen off, like Baltimore, for example. They're all but toasty because of their injury situation. But if you're Detroit and you're angling on being one of those contending teams, then you got to go on the road and you got to win some games, and you got to go through this tough stretch of the schedule. You got saved by the Cincinnati injuries, right? That was a shell of the team you planned on playing back in August when the schedule was revealed. And so you got lucky there. You go up against KC. This is a team that's only won 2 games and has looked out of sorts. And I just saw somebody, I want to make sure I give them credit. Somebody in the Slack posted the next gen stats, the pass map for Mahomes, and now I've lost it. But it's the same. It's the same that it's been. Ryan there in the Slack channel, just all short passes around the line of scrimmage, side to side. It was going to put a lot of onus on the linebackers, and the linebackers played poorly tonight. And the linebackers were a mess. Even when they were in the right gaps, it seems like they got knocked backwards, and they'd get that extra 3 yards falling downfield. So bad game played by everybody.
Yeah, Contez Williams does a good job here in the chat and kind of rounds it out with we played the Chiefs like they were going to take deep shots all night, which is kind of what you'd expect from this team. And we got picked apart for 6 to 12 yards. Why not sit on short routes?
That's what they've been
Mahomes
doing.
To beat you over the top and not matriculate. 100%.
They've been doing that. We talked about it last week. You look at the pass maps for everything Mahomes is doing. Everything is within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. They've been doing it for weeks. I was, again, just chatting with guys in the Slack, the frustration that I can't be the only one that noticed that. I imagine Kelvin Shepard knew. I imagine those linebackers knew that that's the offensive game plan. That's what they've been doing, is just distributing the ball quickly, getting it out of his hands and getting it into the hands of the playmakers, and then trying to just death by 1,000 cuts you. And they did. Yep. They had everything. It seemed like every time he was getting rid of the ball, they were getting positive yardage. The defense just could not find a way to make a stop when they needed to.
Our resident samurai sword salesman, Hattori Hanzo. Chiefs are the cash cow for the NFL right now. Refs know the role, but Lions did themselves no favors. It's really, and that's one of those things. And Contez Williams, we're down the second half, and we're throwing the ball behind the line. The screen pass was great, but not the wide receiver screen. It sucked. It's one of these cases where, yes, the NFL knows who that team is, but you've got to play a certain way to win favor and beat a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't go in and be, they don't like the old Al Davis Raiders, right? Back in the old days where they were hard-headed, beating people down. They don't like rough and tumble football anymore. They want Taylor Swift wannabes because they all sell jerseys, and that's the name of the game. It isn't about the competition; it's about the dollar. So you gotta play a team like the Chiefs a certain way, especially in the prime time like this. And if you don't, you're not going to have a chance.
Well, and I don't know how far down that road I go. You got to block. If you're going to run the ball, you got to get positive yardage. If you can throw the ball, you got to catch the damn thing. Like, they were just the Lions didn't
help themselves.
They didn't make the clutch plays that you have to make. I mean, you can't make mistakes. You knew the defense was dinged up. Is it unfair to expect the offense to play flawlessly? Yeah, probably. But if you want to win, and all of the times we've listened to Dan Campbell talk about complementary football and having one part of the team pick the other one up when they need to, didn't do that tonight. They did not do that tonight.
Let me have Dan tell you all about it. He's on the podium right now.
I love Brown Branch, but what he did is inexcusable, and it's not going to be accepted here. It's not what we do. It's not what we're about. I apologize to Coach Reid and the Chiefs and and Schuster. That's not okay. We that's not what we do here, and it's not going to be okay. He knows it. Our team knows it, and so that's not what we do. as far as the game, we just didn't make the plays that needed to make. We were able to do some things good in phases at times, but not enough for a team like that. With the pedigree they have, the way they play, back at their house, we could not complement each other, and we weren't able to really make it a game. We really weren't. So that's really the story of the game.
What level of disappointment you have overall?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because it's been a long time since you're watching somebody kneel it 3 times in front of you, and it's not even close. You're down 2 scores. I mean, we got worked pretty good. So yeah, it's disappointing. It's really disappointing.
How were they able to kind of take control of that game in the second half?
Well, I'd say, look, they got some things going. Really from the time that they came out at halftime, they were able to take it all the way down and, turn that into points, which, they did it at the end of the half, too. So they kind of got the twofer because we couldn't get points on the offensive side. And really we knew, more importantly, I felt like this was going to be a game that we were going to need to score 30 points at least. And we couldn't. That's to me is where more of this kind of came. We weren't able to get the points required, to give ourselves a chance here at the end of the game. And defensively, yeah, there's some things that we had opportunities there that we have to capitalize on. We got no takeaways, just a couple of things that showed up. But really, the offense, man, is. We knew we needed to show up here. We needed to show up, and we weren't able to do it. 17 is not enough. It's not enough. It's not close.
Thanks, Flounder. Love you, brother. Are you frustrated with losing?
That seemed to be a big swing when they were able to go down in the second half. Just uncharacteristic of Brian. Just how big of a moment did that end up being?
Yeah, I mean, but I go back to this. It does. Look, Saints made a ton of plays for us, and really, what frustrates you more than anything is that then after that point, then what's the next play we got to make to get ourselves back in it? That's where's it going to come from? We're going to get the takeaway on defense or special teams or offense when we get time to answer back. Can we go down and do something with it? And we didn't convert. It was 4th down. It was a big play, but. There's a number of plays, and I really felt like, speaking of the first half, there was 3 plays in there. We make any one of them, and the game is really a lot different in the first half. So, we didn't do it. We didn't do it.
Sorry, what 3 plays maybe come to mind? Or the St. one,
yeah.
2 others.
We had a couple of penalties that were big that hurt us at the wrong times, and that drop hurt. Those are. We get off the field on some of those on defense. So,
Coach, did giving up a touchdown in the 4th quarter feel like it made the game harder to get back into?
Does it confuse your defense at all?
No, I wouldn't say that. I felt like everything that they had really shown is what we had worked on. What they do a good job of is they create rubs, with those. And so it's one thing to know who you have. Your responsibility is another to get through the trash, right? So they do a great job of it, and we just couldn't get through some of that stuff. And we got picked a couple of times on those. And they executed. We didn't.
What explanation did you get from the refs on the Goff touchdown overturned, and did you agree with the explanation?
It doesn't matter if I agree or disagree. It was.
Did they explain it suitably?
Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So I know it came from New York, and they said he never stopped. He stayed in motion. He
came
can't
from
stay
New
in
York.
motion.
Not reviewable.
That had no bearing on the game. I mean, we lost by 13 points.
You go 15 plays, nearly 10 minutes on that first drive. Just where did the offense lose that consistency?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you right now without going back and watching the film. We had a pretty good flow going. Wanted to be able to run it out there. We broke some good runs, and but I know if you get a TFL or you get a no gain and then you have an incompletion and now you're 3rd and 10 and you don't. I mean, it's one thing to try to want to continue to get first downs, but if you can't even get in position to go for it and get first downs, that's tough, man. And we ended up in that boat about 3 different times, so that's hard. But like I say, we'll watch the film and we'll clean this stuff up. And we're going to have to. I mean, Tampa Bay's coming in. They're a good football team, so we're going to have to be ready. I mean, they're all good, and it's not going to get any easier. These only get harder and harder as you go, and they're more meaningful every game that we go. But, I go back to this. Maybe we needed this. Maybe we needed to get kicked around a little bit because that's what happened.
When you were down when the clock hit 0, did you lose at that point?
Missing a bunch of defensive backs. Was it about as you anticipated? And is that why you tried a lot of, again, offensive things early on, controlling the ball for so long?
I mean, you feel like the offense is going to need to carry more of this load. That's the way I felt, just knowing where we were going into this game defensively, and so with that, then they've got to be able to do more for us, and we just weren't able to put up enough points. I mean, that's the bottom line.
A couple more guys looked severely hobbled after coming back in the game at times. Can you just explain, is that something that you're worried about making it worse, or how do you make that decision?
Well, I think if we have time to, if he gets some significant time off, I think this thing will calm down, But unfortunately, we don't have time. We just tried to calm it down as much as we could and get him out here to where he's ready to play. He felt good enough to play, and we gave him a go. And, I would like to say that once we get to the bye, this thing will calm down. That's what we believe. But we won't know until we do it, until it happens.
Sorry about that.
No, you're
Did
good.
the offensive performance surprise you in any way?
Surprise me? I guess I just I don't know if surprised me. We felt like we could do some things in the run game, and then we'd be able to open it up in the pass game. The only thing that surprised me, I thought we'd make more plays in some of these critical moments that we absolutely needed it, when the defense needed us, and we just couldn't quite get there, It was one of those just kind of odd days. It didn't go our way, It's one thing here, one thing there, one player here, one player there, or the call, or it's everybody, man. I mean, we all got a hand in this, so. And that's what happened. When you win, man, everybody's kind of doing their part, and everybody's complimenting each other. And when you don't, it's just, man, it's one thing here, one thing there, and we just can't quite overcome it with one of the other units. That's what happened.
It's derogatory football.
About how the officials called it. Do you have any second thoughts about that trick play down at the 1-yard line?
These nuts? You mean just whether I would not do it again?
Yeah, or try something different, or.
No, I mean, we're trying to get in the end zone. They got in the end zone. I don't know what else to do. So, but yeah, I guess we could do something else to get in the end zone. But no, I don't second guess it. And there again, we had plenty of plays to make that we didn't make. We didn't even make it. We didn't do enough. We didn't do enough.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
By the way, if every loss is just going to turn the chat into mock presser questions,
love it.
I'm here for it. That rescued me in a way that I needed rescuing. Just watching all of our folks come up, like, "Hey, so when you stepped on a Lego, did it hurt?" That was awesome. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you to everybody that did that night. And I apologize because I saw a couple of people who were like, damn it, I didn't notice these formattic presser questions until you guys pointed it out, and now I can't unhear it. Yeah. How disappointed are you that you didn't win the football game? Oh, I'm a 6 disappointed. Thanks for asking.
When the clock ran out and you were down in the score, does that mean you lose the game?
Is that when you lost the game? When the clock went to zeros and you had fewer points than your opponent?
Like, You would, I mean, they get so much practice asking these questions, and yet they're the dumbest fucking questions you've ever heard. Man.
So bad.
Like,
so bad.
How do you write an article based on how did it feel to step on a Lego, or like how did it feel to, like, to be down, like all the dumb shit, like, oh, Dan's feelings. We're really writing Dan's fucking journal over here, or are we writing some news? I don't fucking know what these idiots are doing, man. God almighty.
It was rough.
Hey, Dan's, how much did Mahomes affect your offense?
Yeah.
They just keep rolling.
And we just had Tampa show up and ask about Collinsworth, and you knew that, like, that was a feature, not a glitch. You knew when we drew the Sunday night game that Patrick Mahomes was going to be in there, Chris Collinsworth was going to be in the booth, and it was just going to be the Krispy Kreme assembly line. It was just going to it's
the Krispy Kreme assembly line.
It was just, you've ever seen the glaze machine, you know what you were going to get from Collinsworth. There was no way around that.
Yeah. I have to say, though, we did get a really good showing from Dan Skipper out there today. He came in and he freaking killed it. You know what I mean?
For his first action, coming off and not being able to practice, not being able to, not being in any games,
not making the team.
That is a rough, is that not having a job there at one point? What a brutal situation to be down to, LT3, CB4 and CB5. We all know, we know from last year how these things play out, and you have to say all the things. If you're the coaches, if you're the players, you have to say it's next man up. You have to say that we expect everybody on this roster to be able to go out there and execute the game plan. You have to say those things because they kind of have to be true, even if they're not.
Yeah.
And they're not. That guy in the depth chart is buried 5 deep for a reason, because there are 4 other guys on the roster that are better than him at playing football. And so when you're down to that kind of position depth, you're gonna struggle. And so, we can all light a candle for Taylor Decker's shoulder and hope that it gets better. I still have not seen any detailed information on what happened with Manu. He was in the game and he played kind of poorly last week, and then poof, he's on IR just like that. So, Skip did his job.
Skip did Skippy things, and that was good. Okay, so we'll get into it. We got our man Goff stood up here, but we're gonna talk on this after we get Goff's podium appearance here. But every touchdown, every scoring play is reviewed, but what happened in that play is not reviewable.
They said that.
Yeah. What we know happened is New York did the review, saw that, told them to call the penalty, and then they threw the flag. Because if any one of them had seen that, they would have thrown a flag. They pick up flags because they think they see things, and then they converse and make them go away. You don't converse and find a flag. And that's where the fuckery comes in. That's bullshit. Straight bullshit. And I saw someone was talking about on that play that Goff was not quarterback. He was a tight end. So it was a little bit different, but we'll see. This is nuts. Let's get Mr. Goff on the horn, because they're going to ask him how he feels about when the score went to 0, if he felt like it was a loss, and then they might even ask him about the touchdown that he should have gotten. Let's hear what we got going on here.
All right.
Just tough day offensively. You guys were coming in kind of humming, averaging 34, just to get 17 today. Just from your perspective, I know you haven't watched the tape yet, but just maybe what weren't you guys doing offensively?
I thought we moved the ball decently. I think we were limited possessions, certainly, and so were they on offense. We were kind of both playing that game of long possessions, and when you play that game, you got to score. You got to finish them with touchdowns, and they did, and we didn't. That first drive, getting the touchdown would have been nice. Field goals, consolation prize there, but then we had a couple drives we just didn't. We 3 and out or 5 and out at punt, and so if you're going to play that time of possession game, you got to score at the end of them, and they did it more than we did.
What did the officials tell you about the nullified touchdown catch, and were you surprised at all that the call came down?
Yeah, I got to do a little, I guess we all do a little research on what exactly went wrong, because my hands were not under center and I was set to begin the play. And as far as I was concerned, I thought that was the only thing I needed to do. They were saying that, I've never heard this, that I was, because of how close I was to the center, that then declares me as a quarterback, and then I then can't go in motion. I was only under the impression that it was my hands under center. So that's a new version of that rule that I had never heard of, and I think a lot of our coaches had never heard of. If that is the rule, then I guess we need to do a little bit more research on that.
But just the review coming so late, did they say, I mean, you guys were lining up for the extra point, is that?
Yeah.
New York, or?
I don't know. It's essentially it's an illegal formation that they're calling from the booth, which I've never heard of, but that's not the difference in the game. It was a cool play that would have been fun to score on, and would have been nice to get a touchdown there, but I don't think that by any means would have flipped the game. There was a ton of other plays that they made that we didn't.
One of the plays he did make was a 4th and 2 there. Just how uncharacteristic of Saint. He's been so reliable on those.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's not it. It never happened. So it's it's just something I know he wants back, but it's not anything that we'll think twice about.
How do you feel knowing after a loss you're still married to a supermodel?
The game was really going for a while. And just not cashing in at the end of the long drives, because you guys moved it up and down the field pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's exactly what it is. We did run the ball well. I thought we threw the ball well at times, and finishing those drives with touchdowns is what it came down to. They did it. We didn't. They're a dang good team, and certainly offensively, if you give them some runway in front of you, they're hard to catch. So we had to, keep the game close or stay in the lead. If we wanted to win that game, we got too far behind.
And Dan said he knew this game was going to be on the offense. He had to score at least 30 points. You guys knew that too, I'm sure.
Yep.
You threw everything out there, threw all the play at the goal line and everything else, and didn't quite happen. Does that make it even more disappointing, or what?
No, I think we knew the mentality. We wanted to score on every drive, and I think I kind of hit at the beginning. Like, when we do those long drives, if we don't finish those with touchdowns, we're really putting ourselves behind the 8 ball a little bit. And unless we're able to, not allow them to finish them with touchdowns, but they were scoring, and they're a dang good offense, and so are we. And I thought they played just a little bit better than us. And I think I'm taking a little bit away from how well their defense played as well. I think you got to tip your cap to them. And Coach Spags over there and that defense was well prepared and did a lot of things to give us some issues.
The couple more guys to look for a defender take all over on a super tight window. Just
Yeah.
take us through your perspective. What were you looking at, and just the catch itself?
Yeah, hell of a catch. Just threw it back there, tried to give him a chance, and unbelievable that he got his feet down. I didn't think he was going to be in when I threw it, but yeah, an unbelievable catch by him.
Dan said maybe
Excellent.
getting kicked around like this, sometimes that could be good for a team. You get pretty high on yourself if you're winning 4 straight. Can
Sure.
you look at this as a positive, somehow going into Monday night again?
Yeah, not right now, I don't think. But yes, I think as the next day or two goes on, yeah, you'll be able to learn from it and get better and realize where our mistakes came that ended up getting us beat. And we got another great opponent coming up in prime time again, so it'll be another chance at that for us to come back and play a little bit better than we did tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there we go. The questions
Again, the questions in the chat. Thank you, people. You're up late with us. I keep looking outside. It is snowing buckets where I live right now. My dogs are in the window looking at me. They're covered in snow. Everywhere I look, there's aggravation. And to see those questions popping up in the chat makes it all worthwhile. Just clowning on these guys the way they deserve to be clowned on.
Jared, when the Chiefs had more points, did that mean they won the game? Did you feel like those guys won the game, or did you lose it? Is St. Brown not catching the ball a problem?
Right.
Let me come back through some of these. When you go home tonight, will you still talk to your wife about how you feel? Here's one. When you say research, do you mean reading? Will you use Google? Is AI helpful here or harmful? How do you feel about AI? Jared, do you feel like that play when you scored didn't really matter since it was called back? Jared, did you want to score more points than the Chiefs?
It just goes on and on and on. Oh, it's absolutely glorious.
Oh man!
It is interesting that both he and Dan mentioned that the call came from the booth. Right as the TV crew noted, like, this isn't reviewable. They can't call this now. And then we all sat there and watched them do it, and you knew it was going to happen as they got together.
Yep.
The fact that came down from somebody watching TV the same way we were, man. I've got some window licking Chiefs fans on my Twitter feed right now, because after that very first penalty, I'm like, well, Casey's not beating the Vegas allegations tonight, and I don't think people understand what I was trying to say. They're like, yeah, we covered the spread. Like, oh, you moron! That's not what that means. But forget it. I can't even possibly, explain myself monosyllabically enough for you to understand what I was trying to say. And that was very early on in that game.
I gave you a retweet on that one. It was a good one.
Well, it's picked up. It's apparently some Kansas City people got a hold of it. Now it's just spreading like herpes.
Well, that sounds like Kansas City then. All right, let's.
Nice town too. That's the thing. Like, I don't know what happened with their fan base, because I like Casey Mo.
This is back in the day, so don't hate. Like we were doing a guys' night when we were there one time, and we were touring the booby bars. Did you know that the non-alcoholic bars that are like supposedly full nude, they're full nude down low, but they wear pasties up top? Like, what?
No, I didn't know that.
What the fuck? What is the rule here? Like, what? Like, what is wrong with you people? They're backwards. And
somebody should have asked Jared about that.
Yeah. Jared, do you feel like winning helps your chances of making the playoffs?
Yeah. How do you feel about winning?
This is what being in the building means. You get to ask the dumbest questions on the face of the earth repeatedly. All right, let's hit H. Like, I don't want to. You all know the HTs and Ps and slashes and colons. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Head on in, and you just type that in. It'll take you right to Amazon. It'll be like a slapdash quick. You don't even know that you passed through. They just put a cookie on your browser. And let Amazon know that you came from us and that you're our friends and that they should give us just a teeny bit of the profit they make off of you. You don't get charged more. You're going to go there anyway. Help the show by doing something you're doing anyway. Go to Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com for all of your shopping, and let's get rich together. I don't think that's right. Whatever.
That's if that's how that works, awesome. Let's do that. I'm in favor.
We can only try. We can only try, Mike.
If being rich is on the list of options, I will. Yeah, I will.
There it is.
I will take that.
We can only try. We don't know what's going to happen, so we have to go to Amazon at DetroitLionsPodcast.com and see. Maybe we will all be rich.
Right.
I don't think anyone's getting rich, but anyway, okay, cool. This is good. I see Bosco head. Man, I really thought we were finally about to be something this year. I don't know that it's all over at this point, that we aren't going to be something this year, but
no,
it might be.
No, you got to let that go.
Yeah. Hey, caller, how you feeling? What's your name? And what's the big deal tonight?
Hey, how are you guys doing? Yeah, I've had a few drinks. I hope you don't tell my boss, but that's okay.
Bro, I have to ask you. The line is like horrible. I'm going to ask you to call back because it sounds like you're a robot. All right?
Yeah. It sounds like garbage. Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right, thanks, brother. All right, cool. There we go.
I don't know if he's drinking, but his connection is.
I'm glad I am at this point. All right. It's area code 313-314-2421. 313-314-2421. Let's get this going. Okay. Hey, caller, how you doing? What you feeling tonight? Caller?
Yes, hello. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Hey.
Yeah, a quick question. Do you think that Amon-Ra kind of fumble kind of cost us?
Yes, I think it cost us a first down on a drive that could have done a lot of good at an important time. I can't really put too much heat on my guy, though, because he's caught 99 out of 100 of those beforehand. And if you got a 1 in 100 drop rate, you're not that bad, right?
Yeah, I don't know if we lost the call, but
Understandable.
I had to know that was the the bony hand of the ghost of Christmas future. When things like that start happening, when 14 drops a ball, it's just you can get carried away with it if you like, and I tend to, but that's just a bad sign for what's coming to your game when you start to see those mistakes get made by guys that just flat out don't make mistakes.
Yeah. Hey, caller, how you doing? It's a tough night. How are you feeling?
It's Mo from the Creek, baby. What's going on?
Mo! I had that music ready to go, brother.
Oh, man. What's going on with the line?
I don't know. I
bad
don't know,
tonight.
man. It hurt, Mo. You there? You there, Mo?
You got the music for me and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, of course we do.
Did Mo get a little deeper into his stash than normal?
Call back.
All right, Mo. All right. Man.
Did you pay your dad a plan this month? Why does everybody sound like they're calling from the other side of the sun?
Oh my God. What in the heck? Can we mock the caller's questions? Oh God. Thanks, boss. Go ahead. He loves me on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Thinks I'm Jeff Green. I wish I had Jeff Green's bank account. Man. All right, let's pop this back up. I'm a little disturbed. Give me one moment and see if I can maybe.
Yeah, we got to get your engineering staff on the line. See if we can't get this thing taken care of.
Yeah. I'm a little disappointed in the and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, why should the disappointment stop now with this show? I mean, it's been going for 3.5 hours.
Right.
Basically since the first drive of the game. So,
hey, caller, tell me we have a good connection.
I think so. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right, there it is. Look at that.
Can you hear me?
Sure can. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. I'm 5 or 6 small batch bourbons in. This is Jack
There we go.
Boots on the ground from Lambeau last year. So,
Oh yeah. And you survived. I mean, you're actually in a lot better shape now than you were last year.
I know. Well,
You're on the bus, right?
well, we lost, so that makes me feel less happy.
Yeah. You were the guy that was on the bus harassing the Packers fans, right?
Yeah, that was me. I love that you still remember that. I mean, that's a small redeeming moment in this terrible night. So I appreciate that, Chris. I don't think Michael was on last year, so what's up, man?
So great. He
Nice
calls
to
us
hear from you.
on the show last year from like one of the buses to the parking lots, and it's all full of Packers fans, and he's just harassing the shit out of them while he's on the phone with us. It was hilarious.
Get the business. They got it coming.
Great.
Oh, what do you got for us, brother?
Oh man, dude, I've kind of got a take here. I feel like last year we went 15-2. Everything was so good, and it's tough to say the coach speak, but also at the same time, like, is it the worst thing in the world for us to like kind of go through this stretch, do okay, kind of come out and have all of our guys healthy towards the end of the year and kind of get hot at the right time? I mean, it sucks to say that we, the brand stuff at the end especially sucks. There's probably a suspension coming. I don't know. I feel a little bit more optimistic than maybe I thought I would feel at the beginning losing this game. There's a lot that didn't go well, but I feel like, I don't know. I'm a little bit more optimistic than I thought it would be 4 hours ago. And it could be the bourbon. I had 4. So
Oh, the bourbon helps.
What
The
do you
bourbon
guys
helps.
think? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it does.
I don't know. I feel like we won so many these games last year, and even 2 weeks ago against Baltimore, it was a game that nobody thought we would win, and I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more. I mean, that play at the beginning was such bullshit, and there was that weird delay of game that, like, I don't really know what happened after the first drive, but I don't know. I feel like there's some good stuff going on. The defense is playing better. It's tough to go into Kansas City without 5 of your top 6 running backs to do much better than we did. I'm not super upset, if that makes sense. I am curious how you guys feel. I'm just tuning in for the first time tonight, at least. So curious to hear what you guys think. And the Amon-Ra drop was big, but also what does he drop, like 2 passes a fucking year? Like it happens, in the league. And when is Mo in the Creek going to start like mass producing that drink that he's drinking? I need to have some of that, the blue margarita stuff that he's drinking. But anyways, I just wanted to call in, hopefully deliver some good vibes and some coherent sentences this year, and curious to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm gonna let Mike take it, but I'm gonna get you something here really quick. You need a good blue margarita. I got you covered. You ready for that? You can go back and listen to it, I guess, on the show afterward. But you got a half ounce of agave syrup, an ounce of lime juice, half ounce of blue curacao, ounce and a half of tequila, and 2 dashes of orange bitters. And you, sir, have yourself the best margarita in the world, and it's Lion's Blue.
Love that. Need that in my life. I've had too much brown tonight. I could use some blue. So maybe that's the problem.
Just doing the bartender job here. Greg, go ahead and take it away, man.
All right, well, there's 2 things here. One, it has been my experience as a bartender and then further as a bouncer that tequila after bourbon is rarely the call. Okay, pick a lane, stay in that lane. You mix and match too much, you end up looking like Brian Branch at the end of that game.
Well, if you have to work at 9 a.m., is it better that way?
Well, as someone that has to be up tomorrow morning at 5, I wouldn't suggest it. The other thing is, I think this is interesting because sometimes
it makes sense.
Sometimes you expect the players to be a little more demure about this stuff. But if you go check out Kirby Joseph's Twitter feed right now, he's retweeting out all of the like AI generated images of Patrick Mahomes making out with referees on the field, and they're all feeling it. Like if these guys are feeling it. And I guess if they're, I try not to do the silver lining thing because I think, you lose a game, you lose a game. It's alarming to me, at least, that, you lose 2 games, you're 4-2. That's not a bad place to be in the NFL. 4-2 is not that bad. Buffalo's 4-1. The Eagles are 4-2. I don't think anybody's worried that the Eagles aren't still a contending team. It is a little disturbing that the 2 losses have been so ugly. That they just, they never felt like they were in the game. The Green Bay game was uglier than this one even.
Yeah.
And so that's a little concerning. But if you want to find the silver lining in this team's pissed off. You can tell. Kirby Joseph is on Twitter right now already.
Yep.
And slagging the Chiefs and slagging officiating, and Dan's pissed off, and he's going to be coming after Brian Branch, and he had to go apologize to Andy Reid, which I'm sure was exactly not what he wanted to be doing post game. So, if you were worried about them being focused for the Bucs in a tough game at home in Detroit next week on Monday night, I wouldn't be, because I think this team's going to be plenty mad.
They don't lose 2 in a row. Dan Campbell,
not very often.
Did you see the Patrick Mahomes comment after the game where he's like, we play in between the whistles and those guys can do all the extracurriculars? I was like, go fuck yourself, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you had 0 penalties today after 9 last week. Like,
right.
I don't know. It's just a little bit of a slight, like, temper flare. I get it. It's live sport. It's professional sports at the highest level. But for somebody to say that, I don't know. What a fucking loser. That's my opinion, though.
Well,
small batch bourbon.
Last year it was lining up in the backfield, the right tackle. Remember that? He was lining up 6 yards deep, right? No call. And then the BS come in on the call for the touchdown. That changed the pallor of the game. It shook everybody. And this is 2 things. 1, it's bullshit. But 2, the team didn't recover. And that's the thing. That's an old Lions thing. When something like that happens, it fucking throws them off their game and they don't recover. And it felt a little bit like that this week, to be honest with you. This is a team that has, in the last 2 years, overcome those situations. When the refs were shit, fuck you, we'll beat you too. That's been their standard go. And that's just not what it felt like from the Lions today.
Yeah, it's weird because it felt like we were the better team almost 3/4 of the game. We were just kind of losing on those ticky-tack calls or like plays, like little dump offs. The Kelsey, like where he gets held a little bit by, I can't remember who was covering, if it was Yassine or whatever, and he puts his hand down and immediately gets a flag. Like, I don't know. It felt like we were playing good football, and then like I would say the first drive out of the second half is kind of, things started to change. So I don't know. I don't feel as upset as I thought I would be if we lost before the game. Lot to work on. I think a lot of what did Campbell say after the Dallas game? Octane for the rest of the season. I'm optimistic about that.
Yep, for sure. All right, brother. I'm going to let you go. We're going to get rocking here and get a couple more calls in. I'm actually going to switch the network on this, see if we can get some a little bit clearer calls. But thanks a lot for calling, man, and appreciate last year, especially. That's some great stuff, man.
I'll be around when we need it most. I'll call it in.
All right,
Love
brother.
You guys.
All right,
care.
love you too, bro. We'll see you. Oh God,
12 tweets and counting so far from Kirby Joseph. He's on he's creating a tweet storm, and it's just all reposts of things about the officiating, and like I said, a lot of AI images and a lot of like he's in some kind of mood right now. Just working the social platform. So that bears watching.
Well, Rick C., this is a good point. Branch and Curb are turning this into a bitter rivalry. Exactly who the league wants in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Here's the problem. If we're to buy into the idea that it's all fixed and it's a fraud and it's a scam, then you and I can go to bed, right? We don't need to have this conversation, and you don't need to be invested as a fan. And I want to. I want to watch these games. I've cared about this team since I was as young as I could be. My earliest memories of sports are about this stupid football team.
Once you became sentient, right?
But yeah, and so if we're all to accept that, the league preordains this all, and it's just, it's just pagan religion and everything is preordained.
It is.
Well, then I can go to bed, man. We don't need to be here doing this.
You got a job to do,
right? I mean. And that's the part that I think gets lost in all of this when people are like, well, the league is fixed. Well, then why would you watch it? For crying out loud. Then it's just a TV show.
I like reality TV.
I should be out shoveling snow right now. It really is coming down to. I wish I could turn the camera. I could show you. But so that's the one thing that I think whenever, you go too far down the rabbit hole and get conspiratorial about it.
Yeah.
They got outplayed tonight. They've been outplayed in 2 games. They've made mistakes in 2 games. The offense couldn't keep up in 2 games, and they lost them both handily. Any good team will tell you, go back and dig up the old Aaron Rodgers tape, dig up the old Tom Brady tape, and all the times during those teams' heydays where they tried to bury a team in early October. And then, lo and behold, around late November, December, when the team was playing its best ball, all of a sudden none of that mattered anymore. And those losses were in the past, and they were getting stronger, and they focused and got good down the stretch when it matters.
Bro, last week nobody remembered the Green Bay Packers loss. After the Green Bay Packers lost, the city was on fire, just about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, the Bears game almost washed that all out of everybody's collective consciousness, because it was all about all of the narratives have been proven true, that the brain drain was real and the offense doesn't work and they can't replicate what they did with Ben Johnson. And then the very next week they hang a 50 burger on the Bears and everybody's like, just kidding.
Good comment here from Brian Smith. Grow up, Gray. We got worked by the reptilians in charge.
Fair enough.
Hey, Mo, I think it's you. Is that you on the phone, bro?
Yes, sir. What's going on, man? First, my friends lose. Then our phone is tapped by Pete Hegseth. Is this line DEI? Is this line DEI? Because this is just a horrible night all around.
Oh, come on, man. It can't be that bad.
I'm just saying. Don't block me, baby. Don't block me. I got a vent.
All right, let it blow. Let us know what you got, what you're drinking, and then let it blow. Let that vent off, man.
Well, you know, I got my world famous Lions juice along with a couple puffs, but I didn't puff that much tonight. I just puffing tonight, so it's all good.
A lot of puffing, huh? I wish I was with you, Mo. God. All right. What was the most encouraging part of the game you saw today?
Oh man, I'm still gonna say that was a touchdown by Goff. That was the most exciting play. But then Chiefs is gonna find a way to chief. So that's the wrong type of chiefing. We're not chiefing like the Chiefs, you know.
Yeah.
So that was exciting, even though they took it away. But we just weren't clicking, and I just want to say, Brian Branch, that was a sucker move. You got to learn how to lose. It's the NFL. You're gonna lose some games, but we ain't gonna go undefeated. But other than that, man, on to next week.
On to next week, Monday night against Tampa. And Tampa, I don't know, I was watching earlier. They had a big win today. They pulled that one out. They're a good team. They are a good team, but it's all on Baker, and it's all on that grit that he has. So it's going to be definitely, grit on grit. Who's got the coarser paper next week?
Yeah, but as record shows, once we get our ass handed to us 1 week, they find a way to shake the dust off and get back on the saddle, and the next week's opponent is the next victim. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I got a good outlook on the rest of the season, of course.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the called back touchdown? Was that fuckery? Was that just the confluence of silly situations, or where you at?
Yeah, number one, the refs didn't even throw the flag or anything like that. So, who in the booth called to New York and said, nah, we can't have the Lions come out like this,
Yeah.
So I think it was, straight fuckery, But, we were playing through it, man, but defense, we just lost too much steam. Our secondary is banged up. I don't want to go through another season like next season. So I hope these boys get healed up and make it through next week, and we have a good bye week, and we keep that train rolling, baby. Hey, this might be the preview for Super Bowl. Who knows?
Yeah, and us coming in as underdogs and angry just might be the way to do that.
Yeah, right.
Right. That's all I got for it.
Right. That's all we got. We just gonna cry on each other's shoulders.
That's right. I might puff behind your back though.
Yeah. I got you, baby. I got a nice pre-roll ready for a nice teaching song for you.
All right, Mo. All right, my brother. I'm gonna let you run. We're gonna get a couple more calls in. All right.
All right, man. Much love as always. Lion Nations, we're going to get through this, baby. If P. Diddy can, so can we.
Love you, Mo. We'll see ya.
Love it.
Oh,
I don't think that's the example we want to go with. He's staring at 4 years. Interesting stat pulled from the Slack channel. In the last 363 NFL games since the start of the 2024 season, the Chiefs are the only team to go an entire game without a single accepted penalty against them. That's 1 out of 726 individual teams over that span. It's happened once. We watched it tonight.
Wow.
So, yeah. If you're wondering if that's a bit of an anomaly, it is.
Yeah, and this is a team that's actually been a little bit sloppy before tonight.
Yeah, they got absolutely penalized out of their own locker room last week against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And then just not a one. And again, I don't know what happened with my Twitter feed. Like ever since Elon took over, I wouldn't buy his blue check mark, so my reach is throttled and nobody ever sees anything. But apparently, somebody in Missouri got a hold of something that I said earlier. It's just blowing up, and all of these window lickers from KC that are like every time we take a break and I look over, I'm like, oh god, there they are again.
Slack-jawed yokels in the feed.
Yeah.
Hey caller, what's your name? How you feeling? You keeping a stiff upper lip on this one?
Hey guys, it's Andy from Spring Lake. I want to say that I'm going to keep my level head up tonight, and I think that they played well. They were prepared, and I think Kansas City just played more desperate, and they were pretty locked in. That first drive was a great drive, and it just kind of soured on them, and it was a very, as much as I hate to say it, it was an early turning point. And the only thing I will say, and I know that everybody says everything about Kansas City getting help from refs. The one thing we got that call from the sky cam, or whatever you want to call it, from the official in the sky, but they didn't do it when Kansas City got I think it was the third down conversion where Kelsey had a catch that looked like the ball hit the ground as he was catching it, and they didn't take a second look at that. They hurried to the line and got that. I'm wondering if what you got on that particular play.
Go for it, Mike. The Kelsey ball on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, it was one in the parade. And they hurried to the line and they took care of it. They knew that they'd be up against it if it got reviewed, so they did what a smart team does, and they rushed the line and they snapped the ball. And I can't get on board with the idea that the team played well. I can't. If one mistake on the opening drive, or one bad call, or one ill-timed flag sends this team into the ditch, then they're not the team that we thought they were.
No,
they're just not. You have to be mentally. You got to be stronger than that. You got to be able to walk away from that and gather yourself. And if you mentioned this before, it felt like those kinds of mistakes started to compound and started to gather, and you had the flag on the Jared Goff play, and then you had the Amon-Ra St. Brown drop. And then you had Aidan taking 2 steps and smacking Patrick Mahomes. When you flat out know as a defensive end in this league that you are going to be flagged for hitting him, you're going to be flagged for hitting him. He's going to get up and make Kermit noises and wave his arms around like a Muppet. And
like
he's
Miss
going to get
Piggy's
that
got
call.
his pegging him, right?
But he's gotten that call for 5 years. You got to be smarter than that.
Yeah.
And then your branch, and you're going to. It was one thing after another, and I think that's the part that's so frustrating. Is this team played like they were fragile mentally, psychologically, and now going back to what I said before. I mean, Kirby's at a dozen tweets and counting right now, where he's already venting on social media like a teenage kid. So they need to get their heads right, and I think Dan tells us the truth. I know I went through this last year. We kind of did a video about this. Dan tells us the truth, and when he says, "I think maybe we needed this," that's what you need to know. Is that he wasn't real thrilled about where the heads were at within his own locker room on his own roster. And I think a lot of that showed up tonight. So I can't follow that they played good and it was just this or it was just that. It was all of it. And they could have righted the ship a number of times all the way through the fourth quarter. They had an opportunity. They go 3 and out because they just couldn't execute. And somebody wasn't getting the job done. So they didn't deserve to win this game. The refs didn't ruin it. Now, they didn't make it any better, right? I mean, the refs, they stunk, and you're going to have to fight the stripes when you're in Kansas City.
I do agree with you that they didn't deserve to win this game. You are correct. That said, it didn't help. And I will say that at the beginning of the season, if you said we get through the first 6 games at 4-2, you'd take that because that schedule was pretty brutal from the first 6 games, and it's only going to get a little bit tougher through the next 4. I mean, the next 4 are just as tough. That said, I like where we're at. I think we're going to come home. I think we're going to get. I think Dan's going to bring the boys in and say, "Hey, let's get our what together and play the way we are capable of, and take care of some Buccaneer tail next Monday night." So that's just my take. Thank you, fellas. I appreciate it. I'll let you get another call in.
All right, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thanks for calling. All right, with that, we will call that one. I'm gonna leave the calls out just because there's something funky with the lines tonight. But
everybody's calling from the ISS,
or maybe I don't know. Did I tweet something that FBI's after?
Anyway, are we sharing time with your local NSA agent?
You dressed nicely today, Mr. NSA. I gotta say, it really was the feeling, and Hattori, our samurai sword salesman, says it here in the chat as well. But and Ryan here, it felt exactly like Green Bay. Everybody played poorly.
Yeah.
They were flat. Yes, the ref calls one against us, but they weren't why every single one of these things is another brick in the wall of loss here, right? No one thing was the tipping point, but all of these things led to a Lions loss. This is not normal, but now it's 2 out of 6 games. What does that mean? Are you 12-6 at the end of the year then? 2/3 of your games you win? 12-5, I mean?
Well, I was going to say 12-6, so they get bounced the first round of the playoffs again?
Don't math me. Don't math me. Yeah, last week I was doing the math. Maybe it was Wednesday. I don't even know how many days ago it was. Either way. I mean, is that what it is? I mean, 12-5 isn't a bad season, right? 2/3 of your games, but then you get in the playoffs, everybody has a chance, whatever. But
well, and yeah, this is the thing. The Lions have reached the point where what they do in the regular season, you make the playoffs and who cares? Because what you do in the playoffs is what matters. That's how you're going to be judged. And I think fairly, if you get to the postseason, what do you do then? So the regular season is just the gateway to get to the postseason. And so they've got to wrap their heads around that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to make of this. You don't want to blame the injuries. You don't want to blame the refs. I tend to believe that you want to look inwardly. Why were you making the mistakes? Why weren't you keyed in on defense? Why? I mean, they went stretches of that game where they couldn't get a stop on a single play, much less a drive.
No,
I just couldn't. Just a sieve. And Kansas City could do whatever they wanted to do. So there are a lot of questions they're going to have to answer. And we have to trust this coaching staff. I think they've earned it over the last 5 years, that they will find the answers and that they will get these guys focused. The way they've lost these 2 games, it's eye-opening. It's something to pay attention to. These aren't one score. Oh man, it was just that one play and then they kicked the field goal and they got the win. And these were no doubters, both of them. So they've got to address that, because if you're going to, how you lose matters. They ran the whole stat about Kansas City being beaten this time, the 3 games all in 1-score games. So this wasn't that at all. So
do you think Dan or Brad will trade BB? No. I mean, no. J-Mo got a big contract in it, and they gave him a whole learning curve. Don't worry. Branch ain't going anywhere. This is something he's gonna fix.
Well, he has to, because he's been a liability almost every week this year. Like he's committed boneheaded penalties at terrible times. He has demonstrated a consistent immaturity that's you got eventually it's got to stop. I mean, it's got to stop. J-Mo, for all of his flaws early on, it wasn't on the field. It wasn't costing the team. I mean, he took a while to learn the pro game, but he wasn't consciously making a decision to punch a guy and costing the team 15 yards and maybe getting himself suspended, right? He wasn't doing things that are just absolutely boneheaded. And Brian Branch has developed a habit of this. And I mean, there are already reports coming out of the locker room that apparently he was walking around there like a scalded dog. And, he ain't done yet. The league hasn't even started. They're going to come after him.
No.
And that's going to cost this team at a time when they can't have another missing piece in the secondary.
Yep.
So
love Branch to death, man. But this is why is everybody so complicated? It's JMO, complicated guy, right? Talented as hell, but God, trying to pick that puzzle apart is nuts. I will tell Dion put a target on his own back. Yeah, I think I'm going to go a throwback here, and I'm going to go to hockey is my comparison. I think of BB a lot like Vladdy Konstantinov. He's the guy that gets under your skin and that you hate to play against, and you just want to, you can't stand it. But he's not supposed to give in, right? He's got to skate away with that smile on his face, knowing that he's absolutely in their head. And that's where that's the one piece he's missing, right? If he could sail above that, it's only going to make them more angry. It's only going to be deeper in their head. You know what I mean? It's an absolute winning mindset, but he's just got to get his brain around doing that instead of reacting.
Well, not only reacting, but taking initiatives that are going to hurt your team.
Yeah.
This goes to a whole other, this thing after the game goes to a whole other place. You shine Patrick Mahomes, you want to show him whatever you want to show him by not shaking his hand. Okay, fine. You're mad because he talked a bunch of noise in the game. And all right, I get it. That's fine. You can walk away. But then you go and take a swing at somebody and you start a melee. And I mean, there are a million ways for those to go wrong. Of all people, I noticed as they were breaking that up, there were a couple of guys from the Chiefs sideline that were, pulling people apart. And I'm like, and I feel like I know that guy. It was Broderick Martin. I'm like, oh, that's why I know that face. He's in there trying to pull guys apart. You can't do this kind of stuff. You can't. Now if you weren't a flag magnet before, if you weren't already going to attract the attention of the referees before, and Brian Branch was, you're damn sure gonna now.
Yeah,
they're gonna be looking for him. They're going to have a quick trigger for 32 for the rest of the year, and the team pays that tab. You don't.
Yes. Yes.
So.
Oh man. All right. So we look at these Detroit Lions. Bad week, bad game. They don't lose 2 in a row. We got the Tampas in the Ford Field next week on Monday night. It's going to be a riotous game, man. I mean, Tampa they're hungry, and we kicked them out of the playoffs. That still stings for them, although they did get a little bit of redemption last year, dealing us a loss. But man, this is going to be. There's a little bit of blood. I don't want to call it bad blood, but there's warm blood here between these teams, and it does have the makings of a rivalry. The Lions and the Bucks.
Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield, neither one of them are going to be intimidated. You know that. They're going to be fully confident that they know how to beat this team. They've done it before. They've done it in Detroit. So they're not going to lack for confidence. They're playing really well right now. They will have a game plan that they believe in, and they will come in thinking that they can take it to the Lions. And it's going to be on Dan. It's going to be on Shep. It's going to be on all of those coaches to make sure that this roster gets
Whoever
this mess corrected. Yeah. Because everybody gets to share in it. That's I think the frustrating part of a game like this is that the offense did things, the defense did things, special teams did things. The return game, you could tell, just was not clicking because of the personnel that were missing. And there were messes all over the place, to say nothing of the ill-timed penalties. I mean, Aidan, you can't take 2 more steps and knock the quarterback down, and he knows that, and did it anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody was just a touch mental tonight, and that's dangerous because that can linger and that can spiral. We've said 4 or 5 times already during the last hour, they don't lose 2 in a row. Well, they better not. And if they do, then what? Then you got to take that into the bye week.
You never like them getting an opportunity to test that, do you?
No, you got to. The way they've lost these two games is, I do think it's important. I don't think it's just something that you blow off and all things are equal, because they have not contended in either of these two that they've lost, and you could tell it was messing with them today, because they lost their composure a couple of times.
Well, you can tell that Dan's frustrated too. He's absolutely frustrated with his team. We'll see.
He had to go apologize for one of his kids.
Yeah.
I mean, any parent knows that feeling when your kid does something horribly embarrassing and you have to go like, oh, okay, well, we'll talk about this when we get home. In the meantime, I have to go apologize to that kid's parents.
Which is going to make it even harder for you when we get home.
Oh, yeah. No, this is not going to, you're not going to, yeah. That's that. And that's the look Dan had on his face. It's like the fact that he started with that he led with that was even after having his team got their head kicked in, and the first thing on his mind was that's not okay. It won't be tolerated. We're going to address that.
There's two things. I think about it. One, I think he's trying to get ahead of the league and trying to get ahead of a suspension and say, we're going to handle it in-house. We're responsible. We do the right thing here, right? Did Jalen Carter get suspended for the spit?
I
don't remember. I don't think he did.
I mean, he got kicked out of that game.
Yeah.
So
from the
he
game.
did. But he got kicked out of that game, and it was right in the beginning. So he got an ejection for a whole game. Right.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see what happens.
And, I mean, maybe it's just me. I would rather somebody take a poke at me than spit on me. Like that's just.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, a shot like that is not that big a deal compared to getting spit on, right?
Right.
So,
well, and but they ejected him on the spot. So
yeah. We'll see what happens. Man, yeah. Our samurai sword salesman, the spit. It's worse than Dion did. Yeah, for sure. Dogfight next Monday. Log pants. Yes, you're right. Next Monday is going to be a dogfight. We'll do a couple reviews early this week and kind of look back and kind of dissect this. This is obviously the post game show is that reactionary, like in the moment, what happened and what are we thinking here. We'll get a little bit of time to think about these things and address them more. We have the gray area. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone, but I'll figure out a way to do that. Coming on Tuesday. We'll have the podcast. Chris does a club in KC where they spit on you. We'll have the podcast on Wednesday. Bish and Brown at the end of the week like they do. A lot of good stuff coming, and we'll probably have a little bibs and babs as the week goes on to give you the coverage that you're looking for, and to ask the questions like, if you would have scored more points, do you think you could have won the game? Because that's the hard-hitting questions that we want to ask so we can be just like the people in the room, because we're told being in the room is the most important thing, right?
Oh, man. That was hard to listen to. It's hard to listen to after a win. So much worse after you just get drilled.
Yeah. It's like just a repeated kick in the Jimmy, isn't it?
Right.
All right. Well, with that, Mr. Gracer, I appreciate it. Any numbers you want to go over? Jared Goff, 125 QBR. That was nice.
Yeah, I just, and again, I think I counted 3. I'd have to go back and look officially. I think I counted 3 throwaways in those incompletions. Once again, just a really business-like, efficient, kind of showing from him under some way less than ideal circumstances. You're on your 3rd left tackle in your 6th game of the year. And making the best of all of that.
Good. Who knew he was so good, Mr. Skips? We did. I love Skip. I'm glad he's back, and he stood out there like a fucking rock tonight. So, of all the negatives that we can look around and see, Jared Goff is uninjured, and a lot of that is because Dan Skipper, Panay Sewell, and the boys in the line kept him pretty clean for the entirety of that game. So, the line is doing it, keeping him clean. So. That's the one thing that'll preserve our hope and our ability to do anything is in the future.
Well, they all took their turn in the barrel tonight too. I mean, there were like, it's just, you can't isolate one thing. I would love to say if it all came down to this play, if they'd have just X, then Y, but it wasn't. It was one thing after another.
It was a wild-ass calculus problem of fucking mistake.
Yeah, no, you're going to be doing that fantastic format, and I'm not interested.
All right. Well, with that, don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. $5 a month or more gets you access to the Slack, which is the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. And great folks there. Gray's there. Hot. I'm in there. Riz is in there. Bish, Brown, Ash, the whole crew. We're all running around doing our thing in there, having a good time. You can get access, like I said, for $5 or more a month on Patreon. If you want to just give us a couple bucks on Patreon, that's good too. Helps us help support the show, and we appreciate that. Again, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at the Michael Gray. That's not just Twitter though. The Michael Gray is all those socials, the Instas.
Yeah, everywhere you can find me on Facebook and the Blueski and the Instagram and all of it.
Because he's the Michael Gray. There's no other except the Michael Gray. Also, DET Lions Podcast. DET Lions Podcast is ours. We're across all the socials as well. Give you all the feedback and updates on the show when we're doing something, what's new, what's coming up, and what's going on. So get in there and give us a follow at DET Lions Podcast. Also, subscribe. I forgot to ask. Damn it. Like and subscribe to the podcast. We appreciate you when you do that. It helps other people find us. You know, the whole algorithm thing. And I don't know. If I controlled it, we'd just be on the front page all the time. And I think most people would enjoy that if that was the case. But unfortunately, we're not gods of the machine. So if you like and subscribe, you can help us with that. Go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast. Because, Mike, when people subscribe to the podcast, what happens to their soul?
I don't know. I don't even know what happened to mine. All right. You're on your own with those kind of needs.
I love hanging you out on those. All right. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems, and unfortunately, no win this week, but we're coming around. Don't worry about it. We are your Detroit Lions and Reddit Connection. Have a great night, you all. Thanks.
These nuts.